Okay, welcome to the LCB Oscars recap. No Jeff busy with dozen stuff today, but we do have Robbie Fox, who is a noted moviegoer.
Yep, I've been to the movies.
Yeah, he's been there more than once.
You haven't been to the movies.
I've been there. Got the T-shirt.
When? Last time you saw a movie. See, he doesn't know. He doesn't know movies. He can't even name one.
What's the actual last one you went to? Dune?
Dune 2.
Yeah, Dune 2.
All right. Well, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah,
It seems like it.
yeah. I think what was it Big Cat was saying yesterday? Like, dude, Oppenheimer is the only movie he saw in a theater the
Just
last.
so normal.
Yeah, which is weird because like we think in our brains like that's an insane thing, but like for most of the country that's just like normal. It's like, just
Big Ev tweeted the same thing. He said The Iron Claw was the only movie he saw all year.
And the funny thing is, I bet this office has seen more movies that on average, like 5 times more movies on average than like a normal workplace.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to people at an Oscars party last night who work in like just normal shit, like finance.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're like, yeah, my coworkers looked at me like I was fucking crazy when I brought up the Oscars.
Yeah.
They're like, Anatomy of a Fall?
Yeah.
Fuck
What is that?
Yeah.
Or like,
Life alert?
why would you even watch the Oscars?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oscars last night, I think it was weirdly one of the better shows that they've had in a while, which we were just talking about. Like, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's over the top performative bullshit like that. This one, I think, just solid. Very, maybe you could call it vanilla, but like, I think it was a really fun time for all. Comparatively to most Oscars, at the least recent memory.
We've had a run of really bad ones.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get back to, even with Jimmy Kimmel being the most vanilla host of all time,
Yeah,
boring as fuck. Like,
They were like dad jokes. They were like legitimate, like ones you're like, eh. You know what I mean?
he did have me worried off the top.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
But he got it together. He stumbled a little towards the end reading a Trump tweet, but for the most part, solid host.
Yeah, that was
Also, it was like fairly short. Like,
Yeah.
it seemed like they were almost like killing time to get to 10:30 at the end.
Yeah.
Shout out Al.
Yeah,
Shout out
it's nice.
Dunkachino.
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, solid Oscars. We can just run through some of the categories and the winners. I think we predicted to a pretty accurate clip for if you watched our predictions with me, Gooch, Kirk, and Jeff. We were pretty good for the most part. We obviously, the big nail of the night was Emma Stone.
I hit on that one.
Yeah.
There we go.
And that was one of the biggest ones. But other than that, we can just run through some of the from bottom to top, I guess. Visual effects, Godzilla -1 was awesome.
Awesome.
Great, cool win. Loved that.
One of the moments of the night, one of the things you'll remember
Yeah.
from this Oscars was the Godzilla -1 team showing up with their little
Yeah, the
their
mini
little
Godzilla.
mini Godzillas and the
Yeah.
one that was gold with the bow tie on
Their
it.
shoes, too. Did
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
that? It was
Dude.
all like the Godzilla claws,
Yeah.
the heel.
I loved how like much they were enjoying the hell out of being there.
Yeah, and we've talked about it a lot, but like for that Godzilla movie to be, at least to me, the best Godzilla movie ever made, and to be like this late of an entry into this franchise, which has had 1,000,000,000,000 fucking entries into it, like I think it was incredible and well deserved. I wish it could have gotten won in another category somehow, but I mean, I'm happy with getting something. You know,
That is interesting, though, because it's like a clear indicator of like the Oscars is as much about the narrative as it is the actual technical achievement, because like it was nominated against Guardians and Mission Impossible, like movies with better visual effects.
100% better visual effects.
yes,
But like I'm with everybody else. Like I wanted Godzilla to win. I was happy when they won.
They did more with less than anybody else.
Yeah.
I will
That's
say,
for
and this
sure.
is something that just keeps getting noted because everyone's like, oh, well, they got no budget, blah, blah, blah. It's like the working conditions in Japan are very different for their VFX people than it is for here as far as unions, work hours, pay, like all very, very different. So just keep that in mind when you think about like
It's
how they
not,
managed to do this with that.
apples to apples.
Yeah, it's not a one-to-one comparison as far as VFX artists go.
I will say they have one thing at that VFX office for the Godzilla -1 team that I would love for the Barstool offices to install. That is a permanent sushi chef.
I would love that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, because they were working such long hours, they kept a sushi chef
That
on
seems
staff the
awesome.
entire time.
Hate to say it won't happen in this office. Maybe Chicago.
No.
No, well,
Potentially.
especially not after Dave got like mercury poisoning from eating too much
Did
sushi.
he?
Yeah.
Well, that's never happened.
When he
Yeah,
first
never
moved to
happened.
New York, he ate so much sushi every night. He would just eat sushi that he got like this weird stuff under his eyes.
Jesus.
He's got an Ace of Spades bottle with the country of Japan on it.
That's a great, what do you call it, Parks and Rec bit where Andy's like, yeah, I think I'm allergic to sushi. Every time I have like 300 or 400 pieces, I get sick. It's a really good bit. Film editing went to Oppenheimer, as we kind of expected.
Yep.
Good speech. Production design went to Poor Things. Well, no, Poor Things, other than Oppenheimer, Poor Things, big winner tonight.
That shocked me.
Yeah, last
I
night.
really thought that was Barbie easily.
Yeah. It was an incredible production design because it's like you're looking at a theater brought to life on a movie screen. If that makes sense. It was like all these movable, cool, big, bright sets. And I think it was an earned win for sure.
A lot of the things A lot of things Barbie did well. Sorry. A lot of things Barbie did well. Poor Things just did did it at a little bit of a higher clip and definitely more geared towards the Academy voter. So like looking back, it's not shocking that the categories where Poor Things and Barbie were matched up. Poor Things kind of just took the trophy home.
Yeah,
there we go.
To piggyback off that, makeup and hairstyling also went to Poor Things, which is the same sort of thing. Like you could give it something like Barbie, but again, just done a little bit more impressively by Poor Things. Animated feature film. This is a bit of an upset. Boy and the Heron won over Across the Spider-Verse. That one was a little shocking. But a lot of people are like, "Oh, Legacy War. It's Miyazaki's last movie." Like, sure, yeah, I guess, but like he won one already. Got with Spirited Away, so I don't know. It felt like maybe if they were looking for what's the better piece of art or something. Maybe.
But even then, like Spider-Verse pushed animation forward. Both of these Spider-Verse movies have pushed animation forward like a decade after it was stagnant from Pixar and Disney for like 2 decades.
Exactly.
Like they've been incredible.
And this is one of I think the Ghibli weaker movies, like one of Miyazaki's weaker movies.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna I would give it to Totoro, I'd give it to Princess Mononoke, I'd give it to like Ponyo, I'd give it to
This was one of those narrative wins where it was like Miyazaki maybe his last movie, who knows? Let's get him on. And I think the Academy and all of Hollywood seems to really just not like Lord and Miller, which is surprising because
You've seen Spider-Verse, but have you seen Boy and the Heron yet?
No, I haven't.
That's one you got. I think it's worth watching, but I also do think again it wasn't like the strongest.
I've never seen any Studio Ghibli though.
Okay, so that's
probably not the one to start with.
No, that's definitely not the one to start with.
I'd say if we're gonna bump them off, give you like this is the movies you should watch.
Is it Spirited Away?
I think Spirited Away is probably the best place.
Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro is an easy watch.
Mononoke.
And Mononoke.
My Neighbor Totoro is the big red thing.
Big, not red, but like he's gray.
Yeah, he's big and gray.
I've seen it. Like, it looks like a Pokemon.
A little bit, yeah, for sure.
Snorlax.
Yeah, definitely a Snorlax vibe for sure. I would say those Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Mononoke, as far as like starting someone off with like
those are the easy ones.
Yeah, and then the rest of Ponyo is also amazing. If you have like a movie to watch,
I remember when that one came out.
Yeah,
like that was like early 2000s movie, right?
The voice casts on these, and the American voice dubs are incredible.
John Lasseter handles the voice casting for the English.
I know the Boy and the Heron had a great cast. Robert Pattinson, right? Mark Hamill.
That's a Miyazaki thing where he wants you to watch it in your native language because he doesn't want you reading during his movies. Yeah. So he goes for really great voice cast.
Yeah, but it goes all the way back to like even for Ponyo, which is like mid 2000s or something like that.
That was Damon, right?
That was Matt Damon, Tina Fey. I think like Noah Cyrus was one of them. Liam Neeson, like a whole bunch of like really good, talented actors. Not like just strictly voice actors, like great actors.
Hal's had Christian Bale in the lead role. He's a fantastic voice actor. He needs to do way more voice work.
Wow.
Michael Keaton and
Michael Keaton, not so much.
Michael Keaton delivers one of the all-time mail-in jobs on Porco Rosso, which is I love Porco Rosso, a very fun movie, but an all-time mail-in job on that.
But anyways,
not a mail-in job on the Oscars last night.
Did great work there.
The way he snapped into just being Batman was awesome.
Immediately.
I blogged that today. I loved it.
International film feature went to Zone of Interest, also kind of a chalky. I mean, this is a very chalky Oscars, but this is one I think we all expect. Great movie. I'd recommend everybody watching. Very well deserved. Original score went to Oppenheimer. Ludwig Göransson's second. He was great speech too.
Yeah, very good.
He's like, Nolan, thanks for including my wife. Appreciate you. That was a nice little bit.
Before we blow past this, Ludwig, is he really the next one up over?
So like, as far if I had put stock in like to be the next.
Well, here let's do
John
this.
Williams would be him.
Next 2 decades, you can pick between Göransson, Zimmer. Shore's really not working enough.
Giacchino.
Yeah.
And Elfman. Who do you think brings
Elfman, get the fuck out of here. Elfman's out. Don't even bother.
I love his original stuff, but he's out.
Not even in the conversation. I would put like Desplat over him. I'd put like a couple of, like Ramin Djawadi, whatever his name is. Over there. I'd put a lot of guys over there.
Ramin Djawadi's locked in a closet somewhere.
I don't know where he's been.
Dude, he's incredible. I haven't heard a score from him in 10 years.
They're also good at different things. You know what I mean? Like if I'm saying who's the next John Williams, it's like Zimmer, and then Göransson. Like who's the next like great Pixar like Giacchino is incredible. Like very kinetic.
Can't forget Atticus Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Yeah.
But I think like the next Zimmer is, or the next rather Williams is Zimmer, and the next Zimmer is Göransson.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. But he's incredible. Obviously, such a great composer. It's crazy.
I love his story, just coming up from a sitcom, producing one rap album, and then just becoming one of the most talented guys in Hollywood.
Immediately doing $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
Like exclusively almost.
Yeah. Sound went to The Zone of Interest. No, again, highly recommend watching. The sound was a massive part of that movie.
That one, was that a surprise? I didn't see Zone of Interest, but that seemed like a shoo-in for Oppenheimer based on the way people talked about it.
If you saw Zone of Interest, you know why it won for sound. It's one of the most
it's not even really spoiling, but
yeah, it's just one of the most effective and devastating uses of sound in a movie ever.
Massively part of the movie.
Fair enough. I feel like I know where that's going, just knowing what the movie's about.
Yep. Just take a guess.
Yep.
Original song, or rather, costume design, again, similar to what we were talking about with Barbie versus Poor Things, went to Poor Things, just to get just a tinge better.
Barbie was either this or makeup and hairstyling, not even nominated, and like Napoleon was, and that pisses me off when I'm like, you just took the shit that exists and you recreated it, which it's Barbie to a certain degree you're doing the same thing, but I don't know, Barbie, like that's creative to me. Every year, like a historical movie gets nominated for costuming and stuff.
They love that.
Yeah, period pieces will always get a nom for that.
I hate that.
When we did our little betting preview, I was like, the Academy they love gowns.
Like I would rather Guardians of the Galaxy get nominated over
like a Napoleon
piece. Yeah,
and they're so much harder to like. It's less creative, but they're so much harder to create. If that makes sense, like you have your baseline.
Boring.
I think I think Dune Part 2 should win it next year. Like, but I don't think they're gonna because that's just not the kind of costumes they like to award.
Too.
Yeah,
probably. Original song went to what was I made for Barbie? Barbie's I think lone win, right?
Yeah, their only win.
It's really funny that this was the song, but then I'm Just Ken is the one that blows everyone's shit up. Like everyone loves I'm Just Ken, and then this song is the one that makes it. And I get it.
This one's better in the movie.
It's
in the movie. No, in the movie, it's like the fourth best song.
No,
the Issa Rae song is actually kind of sick.
For me, this was the most like effective song in the movie where I was like, all right, like this is like an emotional song. I could feel something at least. I'm Just Ken. It went on too long in the movie. I'm sorry. It went on just too long.
It could have gotten another 10 minutes.
Yeah, I like the movie.
And Dance the Night, not even getting nommed.
Dance the Night was nice too.
Yeah, I guess
great moment in the movie.
Let's see what was next.
Also, with that win, by the way, unfortunately, Billie Eilish is now the youngest two-time Oscar winner.
Well, and
ever.
Phineas, don't forget.
Fuck Phineas.
Don't forget about Phineas.
Fuck Phineas. Fraud, satellite. Get a job.
Every time I see him, I see his hairline recede a little bit more. Like, and I'm just like, I feel you, brother. It's time to. You gotta get plant those seeds in while you still can.
Yeah.
Cinematography went to Hoyt van Hoytema for pronouncing it right. I hope from Oppenheimer. I love this dude. He is every time there is an incredible sci-fi movie, or especially not in the case of Oppenheimer, but just in general, whether it's Ad Astra, whether it's Interstellar, anything like that, this guy's the one that made it. And every time it looks absolutely visually insane. And I love that he went upstairs just looking like a fucking slob. Yep. Like wearing like sneakers and like short pants and like way too long of a shirt, like buckled down like at his dick level. Like he was just, he's funny. He kind of looks like what I imagine our Buddy Pound Cinema Pigs would kind of look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a well-deserved one because cinematography in Oppenheimer was unbelievable.
I rewatched Oppenheimer into the Oscars. Like literally like credits rolled. It was like 7:02.
Right into
so
it.
I went right into the Oscars and I was like so many shots. There's like those like crane shots of the valley when they're riding horses up. And there's so many shots where you're like, holy fuck, I can't believe they just achieved that. Like that was a real place. They didn't use CGI for it. They just went there and filmed it.
Mm-hmm. The trick they did to pull off that like the shaking behind him when he does the big speech and they're all chanting his name, that like where they set up a screen behind him and they were just like shaking it. I love shit like that. I love shit like that.
Yeah. Best original screenplay went to Anatomy of Fall. Another not really much of a shocker. Again, an awesome script. And I love when they did too the script to screen thing during the Oscars.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. They didn't do a lot of some of the other things which I usually like. I do like when they show little clips of the movies.
So do I.
A lot. And they didn't do that this year.
Let's talk about that once you get to the acting categories.
Yeah.
That was strange.
Yeah, I do, but I like when they did that, especially because to me with the Oscars, it's an industry award, blah, 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 all that shit. But I think when you're a regular Joe watching the Oscars, for those people that don't watch all these movies,
I feel like a little taste.
Yeah, give them like a sample of like what, like, hey, I never fucking heard of Anatomy of Fall. Well, now you don't know anything about it other than like this person presented it, or in this case, you actually got to see script to screen.
I feel like those clips usually, like thinking back to watching the Oscars with my family, make you say, "Oh, I want to see that."
Exactly,
It's almost a mini trailer.
Yeah, which is kind of what I liked, at least with the screenplay ones. They gave you the script to screen, so you have like
that was cool.
You look at some of it and you get to see a little bit of what they were writing. Although I think they could have picked better excerpts for some of them.
Anatomy of Fall one was the great one. It was your niceness conceals something much
was
meaner.
Yeah. Original screenplay, or rather adapted screenplay went to American Fiction, another chalky one, but yeah.
Very chalky.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, I really like
it. Wouldn't have been my pick, but I can't be mad about that one. They were all very deserving in the screenplays this year.
Yeah. Supporting actress, your girl. She did it.
Right?
Holdovers.
Which I found out we have collectively all been saying, not just us, but everyone on the internet has been saying her name wrong, apparently, is Davine.
Yeah, we've been saying
Davine.
Davine.
It's Davine. Yeah. Good for her. Yeah, no, great for her.
Great performance. Holdovers fraud movie, apparently.
Fraud movie? Oh, yeah, that's right.
The writer of Luca is saying 16 points of contention. It's like the Dune thing in Star Wars.
Yep.
You want to talk about this? If you had made the Holdovers, you would have made the Holdovers, and you didn't make it. Also, the concept of the Holdovers, the movie, the original guy who, by the way, the Luca writer who's making the accusation that the Holdovers was a stolen script, his movie was about a 16-year-old sick in a hospital and a doctor staying with. Like, the idea of a young person with a grouchy old person is not like a new thing, and that was where he was like.
It's interesting that the writer of the Holdovers read his script, though.
Yeah,
that part I read and I was like, all right.
But it feels so Alexander Payne when you watch it. Like all the humor, the quippiness of it, it's very Alexander Payne. So I'm like, really, we're doing this the day before the Oscars.
Putting it the day before the Oscars is such a like.
Yeah.
I've heard this happens apparently every few years. Apparently this is like a common thing.
Yeah. I think we talked about it a bit before. This is probably one of the weaker fields in the Oscars. But among the supporting actress noms, she was clearly the best, I think. I do like that Jodie Foster and like all of them are just like, we're just here for the party. Like, we know we're not winning.
Net biddings.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought Emily Blunt, having seen both movies, could have won. But like she had so much less to do that
significantly less. Yeah. The scene was like her scenes were all super powerful, but
so good. Her scene at the end. Yeah. I don't like your phrase is so good.
Yeah. Supporting actor went to RDJ again, very chalky, but RDJ was awesome in Oppenheimer, like the perfect antagonist in a movie where like you think about with Oppenheimer, like the implications of everything are so like nuclear, huge, massive, massive, and like he's just kind of like a regular humanized antagonist. And I really like that. I think he grounded the movie a ton. It was just actually excellent acting too, which makes it great.
I was the most excited all night for him to get his award. This was the like award I was looking forward to the most. Speech was a little disappointing to me.
I kind of liked it. I
thought it was okay, but I thought like his Golden Globe speech was so much better.
Sure.
What did he say? He's like, he leads with, I would like to thank my fucked up childhood or something.
And the Academy in that order or something like that.
Called his wife a veterinarian
because he's a dog.
The sick puppy back there. I was just like, all right.
I like
nice.
His wife looks great. She's looked great for 20 years now.
Yeah. I like that all the people that he thanked though, because he thanked like not just because usually be like, oh, family, but he's like, thank you for like my entertainment lawyer for somehow managing to get me insured, for telling me these people that helped me get me roles. Because like he was in the dumps.
Oh yeah.
He was in the dumps and now he's like the highest paid actor in Hollywood other than The Rock and just like making money. But by the way, I love the fight suite where he's like, it's incredible. It's great that The Rock is so jacked because he bricks every fit he wears, which is true. It is incredible. His hit rate is so low.
When you get that big, it's like hard to look normal in anything.
Fair.
I think.
Yeah.
Although John Cena usually looks good even when he's naked.
I feel like Cena looks the same way in his suits.
Yep, same.
He looks weird.
The George line was great, by the way.
Cena's whole bit was great.
Yes, best part of the night, I think, as far as
really
comedic
good
stuff goes. Best actress went to Emma Stone, like we were saying. It was like an upset, but like not really. Like
she seemed like
that's the worst.
Bent out of shape about it.
That was the worst.
Yeah,
come on.
It was not really an upset. At least it shouldn't have been.
Be happy.
She was.
Everyone else would be happy there.
Yeah,
she's probably like, I took it away from a Native American.
Yeah,
girl.
she's
like,
put in a bad spot.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, she's put in a really rough spot because like she again should have been the betting favorite because she won every award except for SAG. So like should have been.
That's why I
should have been.
I bet it. Shout out DraftKings and everything. Yeah. I was stunned that she wasn't the favorite.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to indicate that she was going to win.
Because they could go in other directions. Like the Academy could just be like, "Hey, today we want to make this year we want to be more inclusive, whatever." It could be something else. You don't know what they're thinking. You know what I mean? Is what I mean to say. So maybe that has an influence on it, but they don't know. So, but as far as like award history goes, like we said in our last prediction thing, all the predictors were saying Emma Stone's going to win this.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't have been that much of a surprise. And it was very funny. And we were in our group chat. I was texting about it. People on Twitter being very performatively angry at Emma Stone for it. Being like, you should have denied the award. Fuck you. Fuck you. Emma Stone, you suck. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're a fucking loser.
Shut up.
It's like, you
Nobody's
don't first
denying an award.
Exactly. Just shut the
Major Macklemore energy out of Emma Stone. Yeah, it was a tough watch. I mean, her acceptance speech was a very tough watch.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it's just like
doesn't help when your dress breaks.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And Cillian Murphy won Best Actor again, super chalk, but like that's the whole thing here. But yeah, I think good speech too. Well deserved win.
Yeah, his hair looks more and more like a toupee every single day.
Like Bieber in 2008ish.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. He's really just trying to execute that lesbian ant look,
and he's somehow getting more gaunt. Like every time I see him, even though he was eating only one almond a day for Oppenheimer or whatever, like, he's looking like he's more gaunt now than he was before. And I was replying to like a Twitter thread about this morning. People were saying they want him for Bond, and like the Bond people were really impressed with him.
Yeah, I agree with your take.
It's like almost 50.
You can't start a franchise with him. He's like almost the same age as Daniel Craig.
Yeah, he's 47. Like you can't start a Bond with a 47-year-old dude and like
him right after The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
sure.
Maybe. Yeah, if you bulk him up.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Again, he'd be a great Bond villain, which we were saying too.
Yeah.
Like,
he'd be great. Awesome as a Bond villain.
Or just a supporting piece.
I'm so in support of my guy, David Desmalchin. He wants to be a Bond villain.
He'd be a great one.
Bond.
No, not as Bond. That'd be a weird choice. But he wants to play a Bond villain, and I'm like, oh, he's got that in him.
Yeah. I could see him not even just being a main villain, but being like the underboss.
Totally.
Kind of like he was in Dune. You know what I mean? But yeah, that would be good for him. And Best Director went to Nolan, well deserved. I think for me, I always say like the biggest and most impressive thing about Christopher Nolan is the fact that like there's like the three big things that like all your favorite directors in the world, they at least in once in their life have managed to fail like the big three, where it's you need the critics love your movie, you need the fans love your movie, you need to make money at the box office. Chris Nolan's done that every single movie he's ever made. True. And your favorite director in the world, there's been a time where he's not satisfied all three.
Yeah.
And Nolan, every single time he makes a movie, critics like it, audience likes it, makes money. Look at the numbers.
You know,
Tenet made fucking made $300 million in the middle of COVID.
For in terms of audience,
and that still made 70. That's 70 on Rotten, and it's got like I think like
I liked
higher on audience too.
I just feel like majority of people that saw it didn't really like it.
People have come around on it, but I have to a degree. I just kind of gave up on trying to understand the movie.
Think about this.
They tell you don't try to understand.
Someone said last night, I did see this. I think it was and actually I hate this guy on Twitter, so I'm not going to give him credit. But he said usually Tenet is the kind of movie a director will make right after winning an Oscar, but it's like perfect irony that, of course, Christopher Nolan does it the movie before. He doesn't reverse.
Yeah. And for him, and again, in the middle of COVID, made $160 million, which is insane. And made like not $160 gross, I'm saying, not just in total. 69 on critics, which is not failing for a heat check movie, which is crazy.
Critics is pretty good.
And then 76 audience score, which is way better than you might think it was.
Yeah.
So every single actor or every single director you could think of, Scorsese, fucking Kubrick, it doesn't matter. All of them have, when once in their life, failed to satisfy all three. Nolan just doesn't. He's an absolute total unicorn. And this is like kind of his magnum opus, right? So it's great.
I ordered my Oscar an hour ago. That's a Tenet reference.
My favorite Nolan fact is that Ralph Cifaretto's hair, his hairpiece in The Sopranos, is based on Christopher Nolan's hair. Because Ralph had just Joe Pantoliero, is that his name?
Pantoliano was in Memento?
He was in Memento. Had just worked on that. Thought his hair looked nice and was like, I'll model it after Nolan.
Nolan has great hair.
He does. And this was like 2002 or something. That was
way
a while
ago.
Yeah. That's, by the way, Memento, great movie. Made all its money. He averages like making 5 times his budget back on every movie he makes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fucking crazy. And again, for that to happen, plus great critic scores, great audience scores, it's unheard of. But yeah, so Nolan wins Best Director, and then Oppenheimer wins Best Picture, like everyone predicted. But biggest winner of the night, Oppenheimer. Like we were talking about in the prediction thing, wasn't really going to sniff something like Lord of the Rings because it just can't, the way that the awards are kind of situated now. But yeah, so Oppenheimer, I think
7 or something, right?
7, yeah.
Pretty
good haul.
Still very impressive.
Good haul because of the year. This year was just much stronger than like the last 5 years since the year before COVID.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the awards. Some other stuff happened obviously throughout. Kimmel lingering on the drug stuff with RDJ was definitely
a little bizarre.
It was weird. Yeah.
It was just like, come on, let's.
There was some spots where he tried to get a little spicier than his normal monologue, and he pretty much missed every time he tried to.
Stone called him a prick.
Really?
There's a little clip of her in the crowd, like reacting to one of his jokes. She goes, "He's a prick."
Yeah.
I
think you got to know who you're dealing with, and like RDJ, I think infamously does not like talking about the judge shit. At all. Like, do you remember that interview with that British guy?
Oh, yeah.
Where he walked out on him
Super
and
awkward.
was pissed as fuck at him. Like, don't linger on that. Yeah. Everyone knows you don't linger on that with RDJ.
Yeah, the RDJ comeback story is not his comeback from drugs. It's his comeback from like 10 years of doing Marvel movies, which not actual comeback. Like he just hasn't been acting outside of that.
In the most successful movies of all time.
Yeah, he just hasn't been acting outside of that. So it's like it
Doolittle.
is though like another comeback for him.
Doolittle.
People forget about Doolittle and the dragon farts or whatever.
He really his comments on Doolittle are like just so depressing. Like he's like, I really thought I had something.
I didn't even list it here, but like I do love how Madam Web was the big punching bag of the night.
Oh yeah,
everyone was shitting
Mulaney had a great joke.
Mulaney was really good.
Killed me. Holy shit.
He was great. That's what people were saying. Like if that was his audition to be host, like
he's the perfect host for it because he's one, funny, celebrities like him. Two, really does know the movies. Like he's paying attention.
Exactly. He's super
Field
funny.
of Dreams bit was great.
And I think him and Kroll do like the Indie Spirit Awards or something like that. And I've seen clips of that.
They did it a few years ago.
Just let them be like the new Polar and Faye or whatever.
Yeah.
Just let them do the Oscars in every award show. I'd be totally happy with that versus like Joe Coy on 2 days notice or whatever. Just let them do it. And I think that's something like Mulaney is super funny. I also think he's just born to be like a host. You know what I mean? He's really good at it. Messi the dog obviously made it. That was a big thing.
I like seeing that the dog wasn't banned.
Yep. And they did little bits with it.
Him clapping.
And I don't know if you saw at the credits, they had him peeing on Matt Damon's square. That was funny.
That was good.
I was wondering when the Matt Damon joke was going to happen, and then it was like, finally, there it is.
Was he there?
I saw him leaving. I saw a video of him leaving, and they asked, what do you think about the Oscar presentation? He's like, I think he fucking sucked or something like
did
that.
they just do like a bit where they didn't show him once? Because everyone in Oppenheimer that won thanked him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I saw him in the crowd at all.
Maybe he just came.
Like
maybe
first
just
name out of Nolan's mouth up there. He was like, "Thank you, Matt Damon."
Yeah,
like whoa.
Matt Damon was really good in that too, by the way.
He was
for what it's worth.
He has the same issue I have with Walken though, where it's
every time too big of a star.
It's Matt Damon. He, especially in recent movies, they don't do a good enough job of like making him up to look as something other than Matt Damon.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because like you see him in Air, I'm like Matt Damon. You see him in the movie as a general, I'm like Matt Damon. That just looks like Matt Damon. You need to do something to him. Like Elysium.
I think honestly,
make him not look like Matt Damon.
I think The Martian, I bought him as that astronaut.
Watley.
I
don't know why I remember that. Mark Watley. I think you're right.
Yeah.
The new Coen movie, single Coen, not Coen Brothers, the Driveway Dolls movie. He plays a Florida governor in it. He doesn't do any kind of way. He doesn't do an accent. He's just Matt Damon. It's just Matt Damon playing a Southern governor.
Ford vs. Ferrari. Matt Damon with a slightly Southern accent.
The weirdest Matt Damon cameo ever is in that movie Unsane, the Soderbergh movie that they filmed
with an
iPhone one. Yeah.
He just shows up like midway through the movie to be like, "I'm a detective here to help you on this case."
I'm Detective Damon.
He's just Matt Damon.
Yeah,
that's funny.
He's got an issue with that.
Not a good movie.
Yeah, agreed. Naked John Cena was obviously a huge hit.
Great. Yep.
Probably the funniest part of the entire night. Very good bit. Every line he hits is just gold.
He just has it. He really he has something that Hollywood has been missing for about a decade and a half, and it's physical humor. Will Ferrell used to kill with that, and no one wants to do it anymore. Nobody wants to make a fool of themselves. They want to do a smart, snarky line.
Yeah,
it's like John Cena is willing to go out there and just kind of humiliate himself, but be funny.
Everything.
Yeah,
he's the male Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, exactly.
He's naked in all his roles.
He's got massive muscles.
Dude, his ass is huge.
Yeah. You see the behind the scenes of the
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he's got a shelf back there.
Yeah, that was incredible. And he was very funny. He absolutely crushed it. DeVito and Arnie reuniting, the twins coming back to do a couple of awards was really cool.
Great.
And like you were saying, the back and forth with him and Michael Keaton, was awesome.
Yeah, and then Jennifer Lame, the Oppenheimer editor, because that's what they're presenting for. Immediately getting up there and goes, "You don't know how much this means to me. I love twins."
I thought that was awesome. And again, like you guys were saying, Keaton's just like sitting there, just like.
Like bring it on.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna do like the Let's Get Nuts. Or something.
I really thought they were gonna make a joke of like, there he is, and Clooney was or Schwarzenegger's gonna be like, "That's not my Batman."
Yeah.
Cut to Clooney. They're gonna do one of those, but no, they were just acknowledging Keaton as the main Batman.
Yes.
Doesn't Keaton have a quote that is more or less like, "Other people have played Batman. I'm Batman.
I think so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he has said that before.
Someone on Twitter said him and Adam West are the only actors that truly, at some like level, believe that they are
Batman.
I mean, if you've seen Birdman, that's kind of
It's weird to say too, but Michael Keaton is the most recent on-screen Batman.
He is.
With the Flash.
Well, actually, no, because if you stay till the end, you got to remember.
True, Clooney.
Clooney's
Clooney, you're right. Holy shit! I didn't even think about that.
Clooney is the most recent on-screen
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, you can make that difference, I guess.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Keaton was great in the Flash. Flash is not a great movie by any means, but Keaton's scenes are fucking good.
Really good.
Yeah.
And they ham-fist too much of like the I'm Batman and the let's get nut shit
a
little bit, but like every other scene he's just a great Batman.
I even like when he's like kind of crazy at like the start.
Yeah,
when
he's
he's
got the long hair
and shit. Yeah.
The clearly not a stunt double, by the way. That was actual Michael Keaton. Jumping and rolling like a fucking monkey.
This dude is fucking insane. He dresses up as a bat at night.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling obviously performed my I'm Just Kidding with Slash, and it was
so
sick.
good.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Best performance of the night.
Tributes to Marilyn Monroe.
In years.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the last Oscars musical performance this good.
Yeah. And it's so funny too, because like that following the like kind of like woe is me performance of What Am I Made For?
Yeah.
By Phineas and fucking Billie Eilish is very funny.
I like seeing Billie Eilish and Margot Robbie like at the beginning not be able to keep it together as he started singing From the Stands.
Yep. Dude, that was so great. And all that like running around and shit. And also Gosling's back and forth with Emily Blunt, right?
Very funny.
funny.
Yeah, Fall Guy's going to be good.
Yeah.
Apparently Spielberg loved it.
Yeah. Oh,
that was another thing. I loved Spielberg getting to hand the Oscar to Nolan.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was very cool. Very cool moment. And then lastly, Pacino fucking up Oppenheimer.
Oh, I love it.
Very funny. Very, very
Moment
funny.
And my eyes see
Oppenheimer. Sure. Oppenheimer.
You hear him like kind of like at the end to go, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. They
It's like that
cut
little
his
grumble.
mic like halfway through the sentence. He's like, I don't know.
Fucking Oppenheimer, I guess. It was very funny.
It looked like he rolled right out of bed.
Yeah.
They woke him up. Mr. Pacino, get on stage, read this. My eyes.
That man had a kid like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, it's crazy. He was
Oh
he was
my God.
under he was in a haze.
You know, it was an awkward moment too, is when they were reading for Best Supporting Actor, and then one person was like, "The Oscar-winning performance from Robert De Niro." Oscar-nominated performance. I mean,
Tim Robbins. Yeah. That was very awkward. Yep. By the way, just to add on to that, because we talked about it a little bit with the actors thing, I do like how they had the actors come out and present it.
It was fun sometimes.
Yeah, like Cage had a pop. Cage had a great pop with that line.
That line was great.
Rockwell's was great.
Yes.
The Tropic Thunder reference.
Yes.
Awesome.
Who did it for the actress that won for the Holdovers?
I think it was
hers was really good. Was it the girl from Watchmen?
They had all previous winners. Regina King?
Was it Regina King?
Yeah.
And she said, like, you based your performance after your grandmother and even wore her glasses. And then she started bawling.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about the thing. So I was like,
neither.
all right, that was like a cool moment. But for the most part, like a lot of them just fell flat.
Yeah.
Because they just brought up previous winners. So, like, whether or not they're going to actually know these nominees, like, it's kind of
I don't like that they came out and said stuff. I almost wish they came out and just stood there. You know what I mean? And they're like, just showed them. And then the guy who won it last, which in the, like, those
it was cool for some of them to get to, like, go up and, like, you just won an Oscar and now you get to, like, meet, like, five
great actors. Yeah.
Emma Stone was the one that seemed like she was, like, hugging everyone and, like, oh my God, Charlize Theron. Oh my God, so-and-so. Oh my God. Like, so that was cool.
Yeah,
that was
part
cool.
I wish that they would just have them show up and then just show a tidbit of the movie, just to give like people who are watching that haven't seen all those movies, just give them some.
The way they did, what'd you feel about the way they did Best Picture noms? Because I thought that was pretty good. After every commercial break, they would give you like a decent sized scene.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think they started doing that a few years ago. But yeah, no, I am a fan of that. But I would have liked to have, I would have liked to see the nominees announced before they announced Best Picture last night.
Yeah, that was very funny. Didn't even, that was not a single name.
Quick.
Yeah, like it's very funny. It's very funny in the moment and in retrospect, but like also I do somewhat on a small level feel bad for the people who worked on those movies. Like they definitely wanted to hear, their movie called out.
Nominated for Best Picture. Give them a round of applause.
You do the same thing, like let the director of whoever directed Best Picture from the previous year come out and do it or something.
Yeah,
like that. Although
or the producer.
Not always does the director win Best Picture, but like let someone do that, producers or some shit. Who cares? Although I do
somebody who's not 90.
Yes, someone who's not 90.
Which is like where we've had two of them in the past 10 years, and then both times they're kind of
going up. 91
bump up
next
the numbers.
year.
Get what's his name? Get Yoko Ono on there.
Oh, we need to talk about that moment. Whoa, fuck that.
Happy Mother's Day, Yoko.
Everyone say Happy Mother's Day, Yoko. And everyone's like, Yoko.
Everyone's like, she broke up the Beatles.
Yeah. It's very fun. Dude, he's a slubby dude.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that.
Shit, that was funny. He just squeezed it in right at the end. Also, a very funny moment, by the way, was when they were announcing Best Documentary for 20 Days in Mariupol. And the guy's talking about, like, Ukraine is devastated. We need your help. We need to stop the war. And they're like, playing him off with "I'm just Ken." It's like you can't even script that moment. And they just had it like all planned out, like a sheet, like doing this for this.
That was another weird thing, playing off Nolan with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
it's like,
oh yeah,
Steel Drums are great though.
Like,
by the way.
There's iconic Nolan themes.
Yeah,
you could do the Dark Knight theme.
Any Zimmer theme.
That's a good one.
Like,
Interstellar.
Interstellar's a big one.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean theme is awesome though. I don't want to take away from that. That's also
theme.
Zimmer. I forgot.
It is
Pirates of the
also
Caribbean
Zimmer.
is Zimmer.
Oh yeah,
completely forgot about
Just
that.
Recycled the score from Gladiator. That's a pretty bad one if you've ever heard them lined up together.
I think, if I remember correctly, there's one composer who I believe passed away a while ago, but that used to borrow from himself.
It's the Avatar guy. It's the guy that did the first Avatar.
Yes, I think you're right. He borrows his own themes all the time. Every single
his whole career, he wrote like 10 songs and did a career based on it.
Like Enemy at the Gates, Troy, and like 3 other movies, like all have the same exact score, and it's incredible because he's stealing from himself. So,
and you would unless you're a score guy, you would never notice.
Yeah. And like again, if he's stealing from himself, so like no one really is harmed in this, but it's I don't know, it's just funny. But yeah, so that's the Oscars. Stick around, we're doing a little bit of review of Ricky Stanicky, movie we were very excited for. But yeah, stick around. Okay, Ricky Stanicky movie came to streaming. One that I think that all of us were a little intrigued with because I think mostly, at least for me, because it was involving John Cena, who if you just listen to our Oscars recap, like we're big John Cena comedy fans. We talk about him all the time. Every time it's just like, how is this guy this good at this? And was buried in doing WWE and shit like forever. But yeah, Ricky Stanicky, when 3 childhood best friends pull a prank that goes wrong, they invent an imaginary friend, Ricky Stanicky, to get them out of trouble. 20 years later, they still use the non-existent Ricky as a handy alibi for the immature behavior. Like in this case, it was like going to Cooperstown or whatever. And then
very benign things.
Yeah, things they probably didn't need an excuse for. I don't think like they used it to get out of a baby shower, which is the big thing in this. Zac Efron, John Cena, Andrew Santino, Jermaine Fowler, William H. Macy. It's directed by Peter Farrelly, who obviously did Dumb and Dumber. There's something about Mary, Green Book. Yeah. But yeah, so Ricky Stanicky. I think that this is a movie, at least for me, we can break into like pros and cons. And we can start with you. What did you like about Ricky Stanicky?
I mean, right off the bat, John Cena might be like this is not hyperbole. Like he really might be the best comedic actor working right now. Pure comedy. Like I know Ryan Gosling's great in these bit roles, but pure comedy, John Cena's fucking fantastic. And we talked about during our Oscars review because he obviously went on stage and did a huge naked bit, but he's so good at physical comedy, which has been missing from comedy movies for a decade now. It feels like comedies want to be so smart and snarky and you can't look stupid on camera, but he has no problem with it. And I love it. It's just, he's so lovable on screen, which I never would have thought when he first left wrestling to really start acting. And he's just developed into something Hollywood needs, honestly.
I think that's something good about the wrestling world is that so much of it relies on the wrestler's charisma. And he's so charismatic that I think every comedy line he touches just kind of turns to gold. So even if like a line isn't great and wouldn't work with almost any other comedic actor, like he manages to make it work like better, which I think happens a lot in this movie too. But yeah, I think he's got that, and I don't want to overdo it because we always talk about his delivery, but his delivery is just so fucking good and just so perfect. And I'm not saying like he's the best writer in comedies, or the best comedic brain again. Just his delivery as a tool as a medium for the conveyance of comedy is so good. It's incredible. But yeah, Cena, I think I agree.
Cena's, I think is definitely the highlight. I don't think anyone can watch this movie and come away with really any other takeaway. He's out there giving 110%.
So much so that I think, and this is also kind of a con, he outshines everybody in this movie a lot. He's like a fucking solar eclipse of every other person in this movie. And I'm not saying like Zac Efron's like the biggest star on earth or something like that, but like they are non-factors in this movie because of how good John Cena is and maybe how bad he makes them look in comparison. But yeah,
I think it's more a problem with the writing. We'll, I guess, talk about it in a second. But yeah, no, like the other guys are just small little moons orbiting the star, like big planet that John Cena is. Like they're supposed to be the main characters more or less, but John Cena, it's the John Cena show.
Yes, correct. It's 100% the John Cena show. And so I think that there's some sequences in this movie that I think are really funny. I think every time, again, John Cena's on screen, it's great. I think the air jerker sequence,
very funny.
William H. Macy, I think that's really funny.
Starts cupping the balls.
And I think in general, and this is like one of the, I don't know if it's like a pro or con here, honestly, but like the concept of this movie, I think is very, very funny.
Yeah.
I think the general idea is super funny. The made up friend, like they need someone to cover for them. They want to have like this, they want to be able to go and hang out, but they can't because of wives and that shit. It's just a real thing. And I think that's a good, solid comedy concept. And I think that this could be crushed in a movie in the 90s or early 2000s. It's just their execution of it is more where I have a problem.
Yeah, it's weird. So they really go there and they swing for the fences with the John Cena character, giving him like just vulgar shit to do, humiliating stuff to do. Just they make him act like no human being has ever acted, but it's funny because of that. Mm-hmm. What they do with the rest of the movie is so strangely grounded, like, and they try to make it so serious that it's like, why would you not just play into the absurdity of it all? Like we talked about at the beginning, like they're making excuses to go to Cooperstown, like
Cooperstown, and go to like Vegas to watch. That was a very ham-fisted bit there, Mark Ribbolait thing, which I love Mark Ribbolait, but like that was like they said his name 500 times.
Mark Ribbolait is the guy that you don't plan ahead. That's like a day of like, you guys want to go see Mark Ribbolait tonight?
And they said his name 200 times in that.
Yeah, they play so much of it so serious. The backstory with Zac Efron, the stuff with Andrew Santino's, even the stuff with who's the third friend, Jermaine Fowler's like all their backstories get so weirdly serious.
Way too serious.
Just like, why not just have them have absurd things going on as well, so everybody's having fun. It's always fun. It's a streaming comedy movie.
Exactly. I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of points where it kind of feels like they were given two different directives, like seeing like, hey, I'm doing this movie, and the rest of the guys are, okay, we're doing this movie, and they're very, very different in their own, in kind of in different worlds. I think a lot of the bits fell flat. Like they lingered too long on the sexual songs. I think that is a bit where, and this is what I was talking about with Cena, where like, if almost anyone else does that same bit, and we're like, that's cringy as fuck, that's lame. But Cena makes it okay and better, but they lingered on it way too long.
I really loved it, but I was also, I don't know if we're allowed to say this on. Well, I had some movie enhancers. Let's call it that. Which I really enjoyed the singing part. That was probably the hardest I laughed the entire movie.
I just think they could have cut like 3 songs in, but I felt like they stayed there for like 5 songs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, they did do. They went through like the best of the 80s, like every artist.
Exactly. And it felt like, and another big problem with this, for me anyway, the main 3 actors here, Efron, Santino, and Fowler, I don't think they had any chemistry. I really don't feel like they knew or liked each other even a little bit. It was very, very like square peg round hole, at least to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Which is a shame because Andrew Santino, I've seen him be very funny.
So fucking
very funny.
I love his podcast. The Bad Friends is hysterical. Like,
swap out Jermaine Fowler with Bobby Lee.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's so funny, and I've yet to see a movie take advantage of how funny he is.
Yeah, and he's got like a movie face. Yeah. Like, he's not like a handsome guy, but he looks like he belongs on a screen. I'll say that much.
But yeah, I think that the fact that they had no chemistry hurt, and I think that also kind of contributed to the fact that they got eclipsed so badly by John Cena. Well, you know what I mean? Like, because they're just non-factors in this movie.
I got the recast on me now. All right, keep Santino.
Okay. Swap
out Fowler with Bobby Lee.
Okay.
Swap out Efron with Connor. What's
O'Malley?
Yeah, Connor O'Malley.
Connor O'Malley's not your lead in this. You can't have him as a lead. He's a great supporting.
It's just Connor O'Malley and John Cena outdoing each other. See how absurd they can be.
Connor O'Malley's YouTube is so fucking funny, dude. He kills me. But yeah, I think that was kind of an issue, and I think lastly the ending I think was dumb. I feel like they got 2/3 of the way through a really good concept and an okay script, and they got 2/3 the way out, and they're like, we don't know how to get out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like the actual ending where they're like, yeah, actually they are a hero because they got this guy a $250,000 a year job at a company and got him sober, and like, in what world is anyone like, oh, cool, you're actually hired again? Everyone be like, what the fuck is this?
Was this based on a true story? Did I read this at one point? There's no way this actually fucking happened. There's no way that happened in the real world.
It's just, I felt like they really lost track of something. It kind of felt like to me, do you remember the movie Tag?
Yes. The ending to Tag. Yes, yeah. It's exactly like that.
Very, very similar to Tag. And especially with like the serious melding in with the sort of humor aspect of it. I don't think they had a star in there that was as funny as John Cena was, but still, I think they're very similar in my brain. As is...
Tag was a much better movie.
Do you remember, is it Dude Olympics or something? Or it was Josh Duhamel?
I don't remember that at all.
Do you remember
Dude Olympics?
It's like, it was like
isn't that every Olympic?
It's what was it? It was like a bunch of guys like that they got together and did like an Olympic event or something every year. Fuck, what was it called?
Beer Fest.
I wish it would actually be great in Beer Fest. What was it? My God, this dude's in so many way more movies than I thought he would be.
Josh Duhamel?
Yeah.
Oh, he's picking up paychecks.
Jesus, when was this? Buddy Games. That was it.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember this? Dax Shepard?
I think I've seen that on like Netflix before.
Yeah. I think we interviewed him for it a while back. But like, it reminded me of that too, where it's just like, they have an idea that it could work. It's just they don't have a way out of it or a good way to wrap it up, and they just don't have enough, I don't know, humor in it. And again, I want studios to keep me swinging on comedies like this, where they don't have to pay a shit ton of money. It's just like nice little small whatever. And I want them to keep taking the swings. It's just, this one wasn't really it for me. I landed on like a 60 out of 100 for me.
Yeah, I'm at like a 45. Like, I'll never watch this again. I'll see clips of it. This is a movie that you will see clips on TikTok. Movie. Yeah, you'll see TikTok clips of really the John Cena parts for like the rest of your life. You'll probably see TikTok clips. The whole movie, watch at your own risk. Really nothing special there. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and it definitely drags. Every point where John Cena's not on the screen, I'm like, when is the next John Cena part?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it feels like such a stupid brain thing, but just every other actor was such a non-factor, except for like Jeffrey Ross, pretty good. I think, right? Jeff Ross, it was the rabbi that was doing the
that was a pretty good bit. Yeah. The magic rabbi.
Yeah.
Magician rabbi.
Oh yeah, the guy, he was like the stand-up rabbi, right?
The stand-up rabbi, yeah, that's what he was doing.
There was that part was funny. Some of the other bits were good. It's just like, I don't know. It felt like they were,
I mean, yeah, we're pretty much in spoilers, whatever. Yeah. We can talk a little spoilers. Yeah, just the decision to like try to work in like a weird backstory about Zac Efron being hit as a child.
Yeah. Just
very strange decision for what should be just a very lighthearted comedy streaming movie. I'm not really sure what the thought process was there. And doing that with like, I guess the Fowler's character also like had a weird backstory where his like boyfriend was like trying to like get him off his ass and like leaving him. Like there was just a lot of weird backstory stuff that didn't need to be in a comedy movie like this.
Yeah.
It should have just been like their partners are going to break up with them if they find out.
Exactly. I'm reading on the back end. Apparently James Franco was supposed to play Ricky Stanicky originally. I would have not liked that.
Would have been better.
You think this movie on a whole, why? Because he'd be more on their level?
He's just a better comedic. He's a better actor than Zac Efron.
No. He was going to play Ricky Stanicky.
Oh. No.
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked.
He would have worked better
as Zac Efron. I agree with you there. And Steve Odekirk was going to do it. The guy who did Kung Pao, right? But yeah, I guess that would have been interesting. Wait, did they film this whole movie in fucking Australia?
So this is a vacation.
Why?
This is a vacation. This was Prime Video is going to give us $30 million to go make a comedy movie.
This is an insane sentence to read. Filming took place in Melbourne, Australia, doubling for Providence, Rhode Island. That is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever read. That's insane. And I guess they had to shit ton of tax incentives. But yeah, again, would love for them to keep making swings on movies like this. Just this one wasn't great and kind of a bummer. So, but yeah, again, there's some funny parts. If you're just in the mood for a turn off your brain movie enhancer, comedy, you could definitely do worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's frustrating because I was very excited for it, but like I said, the John Cena stuff really is great. I'm excited for Roadhouse coming to Prime Video next month or next week.
Hearing great things. We were just talking with Robbie Fox Who. He was saying he's hearing a lot of great things too.
Yeah. Also, I heard a lot of great things about this. So.
Yeah. The first person I saw that reviewed it was Rear Admiral, who posted a tweet review of it high off his ass at like 3:30 in the morning. And I was like, I'm going to take this one with a grain of salt and move on. But yeah, I think you'll find worse stuff. So.
What else do we have coming up the rest of the month? Godzilla Kong, I guess.
Love
Lies. Have you seen Love Lies Bleeding?
No, I've not seen it yet. Nothing crazy.
We're allowed to see that as men.
I did watch all of the Gentleman series on Netflix.
Good.
I liked it. It's not as good as the movie, and I think it's hard to be as good as the movie. And I think that there's you could very clearly tell the episodes that Guy Ritchie directed and the ones he didn't. But other than that, really like Theo James is awesome. And someone tweeted me before, as far as the Bond discussions go, Theo James would be an awesome Bond.
Oh, really?
He is so good, especially in The Gentleman. I think is a good proof positive thing. That's sort of suave, but also physical.
Is he more British in this? Is he more believable? I know he is actually British, but my take has always been he's the least British looking British person of all. He's just too hot.
Too hot and tan.
He's too hot and tan. He looks too all American.
He's incredible, and he has really, really good chemistry with his female, or rather actress co-lead. They're incredible together.
Okay.
Most of the other side characters are really good. Like Peter Serafinowicz has a small role in it. A couple other good actors too. It's really, I think, an interesting watch. Good, definitely worth your time. I'd say Netflix.
I'll turn that on tonight.
Yeah, and again, this is what Guy Ritchie does best. Like whenever he goes off on a limb and does fucking King Arthur or like Aladdin or whatever, it's like it's
just not his wheelhouse.
Crime comedy. He is the best director in the world at crime comedy. There is nobody better than Guy Ritchie at that right now, and I think that's why I would just prefer him to continue doing those in perpetuity. And that's why something like Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare or whatever.
Yeah, you see that trailer last night? They played a new one.
Yeah. I'm excited for that,
dude. Oh yeah,
Alan Richardson in those tiny glasses.
Oh yeah, fucking Henry Cavill with his beard and his tongue out.
Beard and his tongue out, and that little like twirl in the mustache. Yeah. They're looking like they're having a blast. I can't wait for that. But yeah, that's his wheelhouse, and I like that. Watch The Gentleman. There's another movie I watched as well. I'm trying to think of another new streaming thing.
What else I've watched recently?
Oh, did you watch Ninja Kamui yet? On Max?
No.
New anime series. Liking it a lot. Like a whole lot. Oh, by the way, R.I.P. to Toriyama, director of Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Or creator of Dragon Ball. Dude is like, I was doing like a Snapchat take for this earlier. It's hard to overstate how important he is to the manga and anime world. He's like, if you
Walt Disney. It's Walt Disney level.
Walt Disney combined with Steve Jobs, combined with Bill Gates, combined with like Scorsese, combined with like every foundational member of their respective craft is like, Toriyama was like 10x that. Yeah. He is so fucking important. Not only that, because you see like when he passed, well, every single creator of an anime, not non-Dragon Ball, that you love or is top of the list as far as like the most popular ones in the world, all of them had like a long obit on how much he inspired them to do what they do and how they maybe thought they were going to do something else to life, and then they're like, this is what I love. I love reading and watching Dragon Ball. I want to do this. So, and obviously Dragon Ball, for at least us in the West, that is what we're not really into anime at all. If Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z wasn't as popular as it was here.
Dude, I saw someone post and like they're like, yeah, in the hood growing up, like if you said you like Dragon Ball Z, like if someone asked you if you watch anime and you said Dragon Ball Z, they'd be like, nah, it doesn't count. Like it really was ubiquitous across like racial lines, poverty lines. Like, does not matter how, like, where you were in the world in the early 2000s, you were fucking watching Gohan power up against Cell.
Yep.
Like,
and the cartel had like a ceasefire.
Yes, they did,
to honor Toriyama's passing.
That was fake and it was real.
It was real. It was completely real. Like, that's how crazy and universal that work of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is. And again, I think that's almost like, it sounds like an insult, but it is really like a compliment to how everyone like, oh, Dragon Ball Z, that's not anime. It's like, it 100% was in every respect, but no one thought of it that way because they thought of it as a separate thing. But that's how just universal, like you were saying, it was to the entire world. So
there is no One Piece, there's no Naruto, there's none of that exists without Dragon Ball.
And all those creators just had nothing but great things to say about it. They're all like, this sucks. I don't even know like what to say. Like, that's how much they were in our kind of upset about it. But yeah, Ninja Kamui, very good.
Okay,
I would recommend it on Max. Fucking brutal, super violent. I feel like we're missing another movie too. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I'm going through. I'm trying to see.
There's another streaming one I think we watched as The Gentleman pops up on my screen. Oh, the Avatar live action series. I mean, like, it's just not for me. I don't know. And I was kind of excited because of how good One Piece was, and how skeptical I was of that as well. It's not for me. I just think part of it is maybe because it's so dark, this series, and like visually dark.
Oh yeah.
And like, to me, like, and I just, after I quit out on Avatar, that one, I started rewatching the actual cartoon, and just, it's so bright and energetic, and just, this is not, and it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, and one thing where the One Piece kind of has a leg up is like there is a reason for the like to readapt One Piece. It's because it's just too long for the average viewer to just hop in on. Like One Piece, there's a reason for that to exist. If you don't want to watch 100 episodes of, anime, you can watch 10 episodes of a live action. Mm-hmm. That doesn't really exist with the Avatar live action adaptation because like you're really not squeezing down content. Like you can just watch the cartoon and get pretty much the same exact thing.
Exactly.
And it looks more fluid. The physics are nicer to the eyes. You're not looking at 10-year-old actors. I got to say it. Like the actors are just very young in the Avatar series. I don't begrudge anyone for liking it. I just don't think it's something worth spending $200 million on when you could have done Mindhunter. But
that's just us. And then I think the last thing we probably hit on is Shogun. Shogun's been awesome. Been crushing it. Been really, 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 really good. I think like we had mentioned it before, Game of Thrones comps are super dead on. Great political drama. They're not overly dependent on action, but when they do give you action, it's sick. This last one was really, really cool. I thought with like the whole navigation of the boats racing each other. I thought was cool, really, really cool.
They do some really cool stuff in that show.
Yeah,
some stuff I really haven't seen much of on like the one thing I love is the subtitles look great. That's just a weird. Like I love the font they use there. The backgrounds that they use to save on the CGI. They're like using that fisheye lens or fisheye CGI, one of the two, to make that effect in the background. So I think it's just a save on the CGI on the edges. Looks cool as hell though. The costumes are incredible, which is huge for a show like this. Nothing looks cheap. The actors are great. I mean, you got Hiroki Sanada in that lead role. I didn't know it's been done before. Shogun has been done. It was done as a movie with Toshiro Mifune? Yeah, as the lead role in the Sanada role.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it's great. I like the lead guy. He's like knockoff Tom Hardy. He's like a knockoff of Logan Marshall Green almost.
I mentioned this too. I think he's acting it very differently than the way everyone else is acting it. Like he's very hammy theater acting it, and everyone else is very like grounded, legit acting it. And I feel like that's kind of clashing a bit. But I think in this last episode anyway, it was definitely felt a little toned down.
I think it kind of works though in a way, and you brought this up to me before, so I had time to think about it. But the way the Japanese people are supposed to be played is like very reserved. Mm-hmm. They don't really ever play their hand or show what they're feeling at any given moment. And then you have this Englishman who is just wearing everything on his sleeve at all times. I think they're playing it that way to drive home that point. Yeah,
that's fair. But yeah, I think all the actors in general.
I love the Portuguese guy. I hate him, but like I think he's great.
Mayor from The Dark Knight. Yeah.
I think he's really good. The Friar. Yeah.
Oh, the Friar. Yeah. Like he's really good. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Spaniard that speaks Portuguese. That guy.
Oh yeah, that guy's fun.
Yeah, that's all Mayor from Dark Knight. But yeah, I think all the actors have been really great. And from what I've been hearing, a lot of the works by this author, whose name I don't know off the top of my head.
It's called The Asian Saga or something. It's something
Douglas
like that.
MacArthur. I was going to say MacArthur, but wait, that's not right. Douglas MacArthur's a general. What the fuck was it called? But yeah, from what I've heard,
it's James Clavell, I think is the name.
Is that it?
James Clavell. I was looking for the book.
Yeah, James Clavell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from what I've heard, this is actually one of the weaker books he wrote.
Oh.
And it's amazing. So, like, if they're going to adapt more of his works, I'm totally down for that. I know some people were kind of bent out of shape that, like, oh, it's not going to have a season 2. It's a miniseries. Like, that's good. I'm all for kind of taking the lessons from Game of Thrones and not outpacing the source material when the source material is really good. So, yeah, I'm good with that. Also, I just realized
if you want to bring in new showrunners, and have them do a different book and give them the resources.
A different samurai show? Sure, yeah, no question.
Like, I don't know why that's not possible.
Clavell wrote the screenplay for The Fly. I would have expected that.
What the
Based
fuck?
off how Shogun is written and made. But yeah, so Shogun, definitely check that out too. As far as movies in theaters, I think what do we got coming up soon?
I mean, nothing really. You got, like I said, Love Lies Bleeding is kind of limited. That's a smaller movie. I just had it pulled up on our Instagram.
Let's see, Primeval.
Imaginary. That looks like a pretty good horror movie, honestly. It could be fun. The one with the teddy bear.
The Mark Wahlberg dog movie. I almost forgot about that. Arthur the King. Can't stop seeing trailers for that.
Immaculate.
Yep. Oh, Sydney Irish Wish is coming soon. The Lindsay Lohan Netflix one.
Ugh. And then, GVK or GXK.
Then
they're mates now.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is the 22nd.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
Let's see. Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
And then nothing else that crazy. Then Godzilla X Kong with that fucking robot hand.
I can't wait to see why.
It was very funny seeing the director of Godzilla -1 next to Adam Wingard. They just posted that picture earlier. Just could not have had more different approaches to the property of Godzilla. But
Legacy should do that with Dune too.
Yeah, just
get a campy version going too.
Yeah. That's the episode. We'll be back. We'll have another good movie to review, or some other crazy movie news to watch. We'll try and be more regular. We're getting our way back into it. And I also have been working on the Oscars, slowly but surely working our way there. So see you guys next time.
See ya.